Okay, and we're back. Welcome back to episode 2. Gonna have a slight frame rate drop while the game loads, probably. Okay, so we're loading. So we're back for a second episode. As of yet, this video has been one of my most successful, so we're gonna go ahead and roll with it. Now, it has been a day or two, because I do try to space the episodes out a little bit. And let's see, what are going on? Oh yeah, sawmill, education. Okay, so our objectives this episode are 3. We have 3. I want to A, see if I can get across this river and see what's going on this side a little bit. 2, figure out trade so we can start getting things like farming going on. And 3, we need to figure out mining. As well as, well, minor, secondary. Since we're going to have access to lumber, I want to start setting up some of the baseline infrastructure. Well, town arrival is not going to help us much. But like a town hall would be a very good thing to add. Yeah. As well as a church and whatnot. So we're going to deal with mostly happiness and things of that nature. I moved my mic down a little bit. Hopefully it'll not blow up at you guys so badly. But let's get time moving, because I've already a minute into the video and we haven't even started moving time yet. So now we have time running again, so that's good. Alright. Giant white thing in the background is my window. The sun should be going down soon, so it will hopefully... Okay, a little second. I'm going to kick out my red lights. I usually use them for streaming and such, but... So I haven't had those around, because it helps a little bit with the room. Freedom is now an adult. Let's see, was I right? No, I wasn't. Stenio and some guy named Mal are there. I think there's a mechanic. If there's too many houses, then people will just reassign themselves. But, okay, I feel like the in-game audio is a little high. Or at least it's a little high for me. Eh, it's fine. That was the settings menu. I need to start explaining more what I'm doing. Sorry. I'm still new to this. We're learning. Okay, so we don't have any iron, but we do have iron ore. I think. If we don't, we need to figure that out. Yeah, we have a little bit of iron ore kicking around. So, refining is an option. Or we could import the iron we're going to need. Now, I'd like to move up from rough tools to iron tools, because I think rough tools last half as long as iron tools, and steel tools last twice as long as iron tools. So 4 times as long as rough tools. And I know they're worth more for trade. Not by much, but they are. So we're going to go ahead and figure that out. We also need to see, okay, we have 4 employees just kicking around. Let's see if we can do with them. Let's add an extra gatherer. We'll throw, where is our forester? We'll put a second forester in to help develop this area a little quicker. Otherwise the 2 laborers are fine, because we honestly... I honestly probably should have just taken and let the game run for 5 or 10 minutes, but I said I wasn't going to do that. So we're just letting the game run, letting everybody do a little bit of development work, and make more babies, get more happies-ness, and just, you know, build, survive, not get dead. Now, the question becomes, if I cross this river, where do we want to do it? I'm going to let time run while we look at this. But I figure crossing right here only makes sense if we put in the trade hubs here and here. Because this otherwise would be very much a miney, which means this would be kind of an industrial district almost. Which is an option. Otherwise, there's actually a lake up here that I didn't notice when I first surveyed the map. So up here could be like a secondary fishing town. There's not really a good way across here. So we'd have to cross here. So our options are, we can cross to the west. That way is north. Just making sure. Across here, have a little industrial area here, and maybe do a tunnel or something. Or, well, this is just a... The problem is this cliff is very much going to block us if we wanted to go east. And then over here in the east, we also have this mountain range over here as well. So crossing over here is probably going to happen on its own, and this is going to turn into a separate entity. Huh. Well, since we are running Colonial Charter, I'd like to take advantage of some of that. And one of the things I like adding in early is an apiary. Because what this is, it's a single person works this, and it gives you honey and beeswax. Now, honey on its own is a food, but it's mostly a sweetener. It's one of those things you don't want to have just on its own. Oh, we're near capacity for wooden crop. Okay. So I'm just going to add another stockpile back here. That'll do. So we just have additional storage of things and stuff. It's odd that they're not building these. If I can increase the priority here, will it make these things happen? We have this stuff. It's just a matter of getting the laborers to do it. Because I think what's happening is it's prioritizing things in the order which I gave them the orders in. And I did order them to come out and cut a lot of the stone and stuff. That's way the heck out there. Which is not optimal. Actually, right now raw materials are not really an issue. So I'm just going to go in and tell them stop. Although apparently everything that was supposed to be collected is collected. So I'm not entirely sure what these guys are doing. Let's see if we can just follow one around for a little while. Okay, so he's just harvesting some of the wood and stuff over here. Oh, okay, so it's just over here. There's a little bit of harvesting still happening. Did those stones multiply in? I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Yeah, so it's just a matter of letting everything figure itself out. It's fine. Continue planning in the meantime. I can cancel removal again and just stop. It's entirely possible that I'm using the wrong command here too. I don't think so, but it's possible. Alright, so there's the schoolhouse, which is important because we do have a bunch of children kicking around. And I'd like to start having people get educated. Yeah, I wish that person would get married, but it's not going to do it, is it? Now, I wonder, if I order this building to get removed, that will dislodge her. Then if I cancel that removal... Yeah, that actually worked. Okay. Cool little exploit. Alright. Yeah, we need a teacher, so we now have a teacher. That's good and fine and dandy. This woodcutter's about to be obsolete, too. Additional reasons why I want to get a town hall up. Once we have a town... No, not this one. This one. No, this one. This is the right one. Once we have a town hall up, we're able to get nomads, and I think it's required for trade. I might be wrong. I've always found that I do better with trade when I have one than when I don't. That might just be me being odd, which isn't unheard of, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so now we have this. So I'm going to deassign the person off of this one and assign them over here. Okay, so they're just defaulting to working in that one. So we're going to go ahead and order this one to be removed at this point. Because it is... Oops, that's not what I wanted. This is no longer an important structure for us, because we can use it just with this mill. And we are going to set it so that we have materials, and we need like 1,000, let's say. We're not actually going to run it that long. Oh, that's the other thing we need the town hall for. It gives me true inventories of things. But I'm just going to kind of plop it, and I'm thinking that's a fine spot for it. Let's do the town hall there, and since we're looking at this point, I'm going to go ahead and figure out what church do we want. So we're going to pause the game for a minute, we're going to look. Now, we have the ability to go for a central church since we have the lumber. This building is huge and can support up to 400 people. We are currently at like 20. So even like an old church or some big huge building like that, I just think is massive overkill. It's the default chapel that comes with the game, I think. Small chapel, place of worship can do up to 160. Seafarer's Shrine. This is a little one, but it'll do 60. And a parish house doesn't actually give me a number. Since this is going to kind of turn into a town center area, I think we go with the classic chapel. I mean, it's a little bit expensive, but it'll service all our needs. No, small chapel. At this point, cheaper is actually going to win out. So, leave a gap. So I can stick a road up here. Oh, here's where I need to be kind of careful. Like, where's this radius? We're going to pin this in so I can keep this radius going. Because the other thing we're going to queue up is, since we're going to have people dying soon, probably. I'm going to go ahead and put a cemetery next to the church, because I think that's tasteful. I just want to keep it out of the range of this Forester's Lodge. And that'll do just fine. And this is going to eat a lot of stone and a lot of wood. So another thing we're going to look at doing, actually, thinking about it. Where is distribution? Oh yeah, did I replace that apiary? I didn't. Go ahead and do that. That's a good building to have. Like, a lot of, actually. I may build 2. Not yet. Not yet, but eventually we may want another one. And as you can see, there's lots of options in here. Oh, I still little, sorry. I'm just looking in the wrong inventory, aren't I? Storage and markets, there we go. So those are trade, stockpiles, market buildings. So what I'm looking for is a small market. Oh, it's not going to fit in there nice, is it? No, because it's just odd. It's odd shaped a little bit. Well, that makes me wonder. What can I fit in there? Cancel that apiary, because I do want this market in tight here. So, like, here's a very good spot for it. So what a market will do is it will work as a central distribution hub so that anybody living in these houses, or eventually in, well, I'm probably going to have this be a housing area and over here be an industrial. So we have lumber, housing, industrial, and we'll figure out trade as we go. I knocked out the apiary, didn't I? Will it fit in there? No. I mean, worst comes to worst, we put another storage yard in, which would not be the end of the world. Let's start thinking of space so I could fit storage barns in. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, because we are going to have a lot of trade running through this area at some point. Actually, no. I lied. What do we have as far as smelters? Oh, it's going to be in refined production. Smithing. I need to move my webcam up because I can't read everything. There we go. Small iron smelter. Melting house converts gold and silver into gold gilder and silver perfing. That doesn't help us. Okay, you know what? There's too much reading going on that side. I'm moving my webcam over to the opposite side. Sorry that the screen moves when I do that, but we need to read these things. Metalsmith, forge. Creates iron from iron ore. Also creates tin, copper, bronze, and pewter. Can make cannons, joist iron statues, and bronze statues, as well as bronze tools. Does not require water placement. And there's foundry, creates iron from iron ore. Also creates all these other things. Powered by a water wheel. Okay, well if I just take a regular forge, is that going to fit in there? No. Not at all. Because an iron smelter would be a very good addition. The bundling shed are getting together and cut into suitable bundles for fires. This makes charcoal if I had to guess. A fuel refinery. I can fit you in there. Now, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to need this so much, but I'm going to go for it because I think it's a good investment. I'm not entirely sure what we need that for. But better burning stuff is good, because then I don't have to worry about firewood. Just use the industrial stuff for houses, I think. Stone is low. Yeah, stone is going to become a problem. So the next thing we also need to figure out is stone extraction. Now, we could go with a quarry. The smaller one can be reclaimed. The larger one cannot. Iron and coal mine, stone and salt. To the salt mines! Oh, I'm not Jingles. Alright, stonecutters work here. Well, it only costs wood. At some point we're gonna go ahead and start doing like precious mines and more conventional mines that are gonna dig out the mountain, but for now I think we're going to avoid that. Placer mines are pretty good also. Yeah, we're gonna just go with one of these, because I've never actually used one of these before, and I'm curious to see how it works. So we're gonna just place that there, and that is now a high priority. I don't know if we're gonna have the people to work a proper mine, but I am very curious. We do have 2 builders kicking around someplace. Jeffer, Thomas. I probably need to keep an eye on housing, too, in all these building projects. We're going to have a very big worker shortage soon, because we're switching over to education. And education, as it works out, is, you know, more time consuming. Salt box houses. They are a move up, I think. And we don't have some of these other things. I think those are, you make them in one of the packaging places. I'm actually not entirely sure. But, I don't know, I've never really fiddled around with this mod too much. I know the basics, but that's about it. Shore house, where sand, clay, dug up processed glassworks or brickworks. That'll be important later on, but right now we're still just at the sustenance level. We're not actually really able to go industrialized too much yet. I think we're going to stick with wooden houses for a little bit. I'm going to put at least one more in over here. And we'll shove in one next to the cemetery as well, and they're both going to become high priority, because I think we need them. Alright, so you're making stone right now. I could make stone, I could make salt. Deep salt and stone, so I need candles for that. This can take up to 3 people. I'm not running a huge food surplus, but I'll go ahead and decrease... Well, I'll run 2 builders. We don't actually need laborers outright, I don't think. So you're now a stone mine. 100% remaining. Alright, and once we have the ability to get some candles made, thanks to the apiary, we'll be able to make the upgrade to deep. Now, if deep mines are only going to cost us wood and candles, that means these mines are entirely renewable structures, if they are indeed removable, once they're upgraded, and at that point we can just sit here and use these kind of mines till the rest of the time, at which point I see no reason to mine into the mountains with the unremovable ones. Although I imagine they're a lot more cost-effective than these are, just for the fact of this game is well-balanced with the mod. It's just semi-accurate. Also, can we get this town hall built? Yes, they're working on it. Good. Okay, so now we have the town hall built, so I'm going to pause for a minute and we can explain things. First of all, it gives you an overview, which is nice. The professions tab is the same thing as what we have right here, so that's not important. But we have 8 homes, but 9 families, so we do need one more house. That's an important thing here, and you have a total of 29 people. Now, if we go and look at production, we can... Let's go ahead and display the last 5 years over here. So we've got our year, how much we've used, how much we've produced, our current supply, and then how much has been happening in the last 5 years. So this is kind of a trend line, if you will. Food, we're producing more than we're using, so that's good. So, and this also gives us a general inventory, so it tells us exactly what we have. If we had nomads, eventually we're going to acquire different seeds and livestock. As you can see, there's a few. graphs. Let's go for 5 years. This is population, so total population, adults, whatnot. I like using this for food, because food is going to make or break us. You live and die on food. And that's where this game kind of becomes a survival game in the later stages, is that you start hitting certain thresholds where you can just have massive starvation crises, and then everybody's in trouble. You start dying off, and you can't actually sustain your farms, and everything goes to hell. Like logs, that's going to be pretty normal. Stone, we just don't have any. Iron, we haven't actually started making it yet. Firewood's all over the place. You can see where the cap is. Actually, it dipped quite a bit, but that's probably because we're running... we have 100 and some odd lumber. Let's go ahead and switch this over to firewood. But that's the kind of thing it lets me see. It's like, okay, I've dropped off in firewood. We need to switch back over to firewood production. Materials is like lumber and such. Well, it's saying coal, but that's a lie. How many tools we have, how much herbs we have. We don't actually have any clothing, but we could make clothing at some point. Luxuries, dry goods, you name it, you got it. I'm going to leave it on food, because that's kind of the most critical thing here. They're working on the chapel. I'm trying to figure out, like, where do we want to pull somebody? I'm thinking we pull somebody off the forester, because we're not going to have a huge log demand for a while. And anybody who gets done getting educated, we're going to put back into food production, because I like to get over 5,000 before we really try to expand into trade. And this is fine. I mean, it's producing stone very slowly, which I think is the drawback. But at this point, we don't need a huge amount of it. I mean, we need a lot, but we don't need, like, it right now, if you will. I don't really know what the fuel refinery is going to do for us, so we're going to pause it. Yeah. So we don't have any stone, we don't have any iron. That's okay, because we're running with iron ore right now. I'm going to have to set one of you up for iron at some point. That sounds like a really good idea. This is a very industrial building, though, and I don't know if we actually had the population to get into this kind of industrial types thing. I don't know, we'll make it work. It'll all work out. It'll be fine. We will make it work. Now, if we come over here and we look, we have 9 families and 8 homes. As soon as this gets done, we now have 9 homes and 9 families. There's another one. So now they can have babies, which we want. We want people to have babies. We need lots of babies. Come on. Make the babies. A stonecutter and a student. That's awesome. So he goes and he digs away at the salt mine, stone mine all day, and she goes to school. That sounds like... yeah. Anyway, I'm going to rip one fisherman off, and he's going to become a fisher of men, also known as our priest, who works the chapel. And it should all work out. We don't exactly have a huge surplus of wood anymore. I mean, we have some over here, yeah, but we had a pretty giant surplus of wood for a while. Our stone mine is mining away. We're waiting on people to grow up. We have 6 students already. You know, as a point of interest, let's see. Where is our teacher? Our teacher is here. Entertainingly enough, our teacher is not educated. Whoop. Game. Okay, apparently it won't let me do annotations or anything without the game bugging out on me, so that's a problem. But just appreciate that. Job. Teacher. Educated? No. Steel tool. Rugged clothes. I don't know. Not my department. Which is odd, because I don't actually have any steel tools getting made, which means my people must start with steel tools, which is very nice of them. The devs, I mean, to start us with steel tools. So, you know, what kind of bridge do we want? Do we want to do a wooden bridge? Stone and wood bridge? We don't have any bricks, so we can't do brick bridges. A drawbridge only requires wood. Covered bridges are cool, but are a little bit bigger. Creek Plank Bridge. Functionally, these are all just aesthetic. I think we're going to go with a covered bridge because I think it looks cool. I'm going to give a little bit of space. See if we can see where that plot went. Pin you so that I can see it on this side, because then we're going to go ahead and draw up and over. The reason why I did that is I like having a little bit of space between that and the fishing dock for just aesthetic. But this is going to result in, otherwise if they're next to each other too, these guys will like to walk into the bridge and it's like, what are you doing? Stop. We now have a cemetery, yay! I can hold up to 35 graves. It's only mildly morbid. We're not going to lose 35 people for a while. We don't have 35 people. Everybody could die, and everyone, we have a grave. Yep, we only have 30 citizens. Everyone, we have enough space that everyone may die, and we would still have open space in the graveyard. Everything is good. Went down from 8 families to 9. Yeah, but you see, like, this thing only takes up 1 square in each direction. It's a lot bigger than that. It looks really cool. But alright, we only got 4 minutes left in this episode. We've only accomplished the get a town hall set up. Well, we do have some basic mining going. So we're a little bit behind schedule. We're not going to get to trade, I don't think. But we do have religion, so people are happy. We have a graveyard, so that people can bury the dead. We now have a town hall, which is huge, because you can see we have this general trend line of upward slope. I look at this like my food market. It's my stock market, but it's my food stock market. More people are being born, becoming students. This is a very good thing. I just appreciate some of the names. Carlina, Alexia, Linthral, Distanos, Daryl, Brina. Distanos. That sounds awesome. Like, just say it a couple times. Distanos. It sounds so epic and powerful, and that guy's probably is going to be an absolute scrub. He's going to just go, and he's going to end up working in the salt mine. It's going to be Distanos, the stone miner of the salt mines. You know, he's become a laborer. That's big, because now we're starting to get laborers coming out of this. And they're just going to kind of mix themselves in. Now, in actuality, he's probably not our laborer anymore. Oh yeah, it still is. But they will reassign themselves to jobs depending upon where they end up living. So he'll go off and get a job somewhere, I'm sure. And it'll all work out just fine. If not, he'll be the best laborer we've ever had. Ander has become a student. Cool, good, great, grand, amazing. No, this is going extremely well and has a shocking lack of death. We have a bunch of laborers now. Okay, so as promised, we're going to go and add another fisherman. Going to add a second hunter. Gatherer, and we're going to max out our gatherer's hut. So they're the 3. So now we have one more hunter going out and around to get us leather, venison. Oh, we have leather coming in. Okay. We need to get clothing set up because people are starting to live in ragged clothing and that's unacceptable. Also, I'm just going to add another 0 onto the end of that. Not because we have the capacity for it, because I want people who are working in food production to always be working. The extra little bit of fishing does not hurt us either. And I'm going to go ahead and let this increase to 1,000, because firewood is a very good early trade good, because everybody will buy it. It's cheap. But it's also very easy to make. And since we're getting it from logs, which come from a forester's hut, it's also a completely renewable resource. And I'm a big fan of being able to trade things that are completely renewable, because then I'm giving up something to get something, but I'm not actually giving up anything. Because I can always just get more of it. We're closing in on that half-an-hour mark, and I feel like we have not accomplished a whole ton in this episode. Well, compared to last episode, I guess it's going to be kind of hard. But We have a cemetery now, we have a church, we have a town hall. Our food economy is going well. We have a bridge across the river, so we did succeed in that objective. We did successfully have a way across the river. We're not doing anything over here yet, but we do have a way across anyway. We have a lot of buildings that need building. Most of it's getting held back by our very large lack of stone. Just like bip, 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 bip. Those are the couple stones coming in, and then immediately getting used. The laborer again. You know what we're going to do? We're going to designate this little area, just any stones, just pick them up. Because at this point, anybody who's just sitting around idle, we do need something for them to do. Because there's going to be a bunch, like our blacksmith, our lumberyard operator, like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm thinking about it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to extend the road out from here. As far as it'll go. We're going to put in a small-ish stockpile, a little 4x4 stockpile. And I'm just going to say, clear that side so that we can see what's going on with the topography. And that'll also give people something to do when they're just idle. Alright, we've cleared the half-hour mark, so we need to wrap this episode up. Our reserve of stone is low! Yeah, like we didn't already know that. Alright, so they'll go ahead and do that in their free time now, which is fine. You know what, we're going to go ahead and let this market get built, I think, and then I'm going to wrap up this episode. No. You know, I'm going to call it here. This seems like a stable spot. So, thank you for watching. I am the Silver Ghost, and this is Banished. So, thank you for watching episode 2. Episode 3 will be coming sometime in the next couple days. Surviving Mars is coming out, I believe, on the 15th, which is Thursday. So when that game comes out, I will be either streaming or playing it to heavy excess. So this series might be on hold for a little while. I hope to get at least a couple more episodes done in the next few days. So thank you all for watching. Come on back for the next one. There will be more. I promise. Alright. Let's get the save dropped. Silver Ghost signing off. See you next time, folks. Whoops, wrong button.